Hello, my name is Jenny Lynn and this is my channel, and today's video is not for the faint of heart. Three extremely scary stories that are all real life stories. I have them all written down in my little book here, and I'm going to read them to you right now. So the first story comes from someone that is wishing to remain anonymous. This story will absolutely have you checking your attic at home. The storyteller said that they lived next door to a cute little old lady, but that little old lady would knock on their door at night and she would cry, "There's somebody on my roof." And they would comfort this old woman and they'd explain it's probably just raccoons, it'll be okay. And eventually that little old woman went into a retirement home and new people moved into her old house. And one night the police showed up and it woke up the whole neighborhood. And the new neighbor explained he saw legs dangling from the ceiling in his kitchen. And he thought for sure he was getting robbed, so he called the police. The suspected robber got away, but when they checked the attic, they found chairs, water, cans of food, magazines, and blankets. A stranger had been living up there long term. It was suspected he'd actually been living up there for 2 whole years. That old woman who lived there previously once said that her dementia was so bad she'd sometimes need to go grocery shopping a few times a day because she'd come home and realize she forgot to purchase anything at all. And now we know she probably wasn't crazy because the man living in her attic was taking all of her food. Now, story number 2 comes from a guy named Chris, and he witnessed something that I believe was truly out of this world. He was hunting with his friend Dan in Colorado, and these men both hiked up into the mountains very early in the morning while it was still very, very dark. And both of these guys saw this little faint dim red light in the distance. And they figured, it's probably just a distant radio tower, until that red light, it grew really, really big and bright, and then suddenly it shot across the mountains, and the red light flew around, lighting up all of the hillsides as it passed. And eventually, the red light disappeared, and both men were left shocked and puzzled as to what they had just witnessed. A concerned park ranger came upon the men later, and he said, "Did you guys see that red light?" And they said, "Yeah, we totally saw it." So they weren't the only ones that witnessed that strange phenomenon. But anyway, the men continued to hike around that area, but as they went, they felt like they were being followed. And it was something that moved through the thick brush unlike any known human or animal. And whatever it was, it liked to be very close to them. Still to this day, both Chris and Dan know the light moved way faster and was much too large to be a drone. is so they believe what they experienced was something totally not of our planet. And now, the final tale. This one gives me the heebie-jeebies. This one was told to me by a man named Kirk, and it revolves around a very old house in the Deep South. When Kirk was a young boy, he and his family moved into a house that was built just after the Civil War. The house originally was used as a hotel for weary railroad travelers and was steeped in a lot of history. Young Kirk hated that house. It was creaky, it was old, it was drafty, and it just really creeped him out. Many weird things happened in that house, but one night in particular, in Kirk's room, as he laid in bed, he heard a strange noise. It sounded kind of like a faint bell. He looked around but saw nothing, and yet the noise continued. So he looked again, and he saw his old rotary phone was slowly moving across his desk, and the bell inside was faintly dinging as it moved. Later, because of all of this unusual phenomenon in this old house, the family had a medium come to check things out. And the medium said there was a spirit of an old woman who stayed at the foot of the staircase. And the medium also said terrible things had happened in Kirk's room. I don't know what those things were, but even to this day, that old house still scares Kirk, and he does his best to avoid going inside. Are you as scared as I am? I think I'm gonna sleep with all the lights on and check my attic before I go to bed and unplug the phones. But thank you so much for all of your submissions. I had a great time making this video. And now if you would please like, share, comment, subscribe, hit the notification bell, and check out all of my links down below. And have a safe and spooky Halloween. Bye.